So in the previous video, we wrote the code for liking and unliking a post with sockets. Now we are going to work on the more exciting part, that is implementing real-time notifications. So first of all, I want you to imagine a scenario. I'm sure all of you must have used Instagram or Facebook at least once in your life. So when you get a notification on Instagram or Facebook, you get the name of the user from whom you have notification. So if I show you the picture, I like the post from John Doe, Jane Doe's post. So you get the notification John Doe liked your post and John Doe are anchor tags. So if the user clicks on John Doe, you will be redirected to their profile. And if you click on the post, you will be redirected to that post. We need the name of the user who liked your post and his username. So on the front end, we have the route slash and the username. We render out the profile page. So that's why we need the username, profile pic URL. The profile picture is being shown right here on the left side of the user who liked your picture, his name, and the ID of the post which was liked. So inside this like or unlike post function, after all of this is done, before the return statement, we are going to look for that user who liked your post. So const user await user model dot find by ID user ID. Again, this user ID is the logged in user's ID, the user who is liking the post. So from this user, we are going to get all the information. If I open the user model, we are going to get the name and all the information which we need. So I'm going to destructure out these values. Const user, we are going to need name, profile pic URL, username. And now in the return statement, we are going to add these values, name, profile pic URL, username. And also we're going to need one more property here in the return statement, in the return object. We're going to need the ID of the user whose post we are liking. So post by user ID, it is going to be post.user.toString. So again, this ID is this one right here. We are again going to check if post by user ID is not equals to user ID on our server.js. So now on our server.js, we have already imported this function. We're going to receive these values inside the return statement. I'm going to copy this. So now we're receiving all of these values too. And in the if success check, first of all, we're going to check if post by user ID not equals to user ID. So again, here we are making the same check. If you have not liked your own post, we are not going to send a notification to ourselves. That's why we are checking if post by user ID not equals to user ID. Only then we are going to emit a notification. So now in this if check, first of all, we are going to check if the user who we want to emit the notification is online. So if I like your post, the server will check that if you are online, only then you will get a real-time notification. So const receiver socket. And this is the same process we did when we were sending real-time chats. So if you have not watched those videos, make sure to watch them too. And we're going to call the function find connected user. We are going to need the user ID. So inside this, we are going to pass post by user ID. So let me explain how this is going to work. On our index.js, we have a use effect right here. We are making an initial connection here with the IO passing in the base URL. And after this, we are emitting an event. If socket.current, we are emitting the event join and passing in the user ID with the logged in user's ID. And we are listening for this join event on our server. So inside the server.js, we have the first event here, socket.onJoin. We are receiving the user ID and we are calling the function add user. So if I go to the add user function, here we are first of all checking if the user is already there inside a users array. So we are checking this so that there are no duplicates inside our users array. That means if a user is already there with this user ID, which we are passing inside the parameters, that means we are going to remove that user. So we are checking if user and user.socket ID is equals to socket ID. So that means there is already an user with that user ID and socket ID. We are going to return the users. Else we are checking if user, that means the user is already there with the user ID, which we are passing inside the parameters. And then we are checking if user.socket ID not equals to socket ID. Then we are going to completely remove the user from my users array right here. So this users array. And then we are pushing a new user here inside the users array. So if I log in, I'm going to show you the log that we get. So you can see this is the log we get. I'm logging the users here. So if I go to the server, I'm logging the users here. And if I go to the terminal again, we are logging the user with its user ID and socket ID. And if I refresh here, so you can see we get another log. This is the previous log and this is the new log. You can see there are no two users now inside the array. There is again only one user. So we are removing the duplicates. So this line of code inside the room actions, this line of code is making sure that there are no duplicates inside the users array. Again, what I mean by that is, this is the previous log. When we first logged in, we had the user ID and socket ID. And after I refreshed, again, we have removed the previous user and added a new user with the new socket ID. So you can see the socket IDs are always unique. So again, we checked if there is a previous user, remove that one and add a completely new user. So this will prevent the duplicates inside a user's array. And inside the server.js, on this like post, we are calling the find connected user. And now if I log in with another user here, I'm going to log in with John Doe. So now if I go back to the terminal, you can see we have two users right now. Both of them are different. So user IDs are different and socket IDs are different. So when we are calling this find connected user, if I go to the code again, we are looking inside the users array with this user ID and this will return us an object. So this will basically return us an object with the user ID and socket ID. So this was one of the concerns of a student, that how we are going to find the socket ID if it changes. We are going to find the user with this user ID. We are not going to look for that socket ID. And when we call this function, it is going to return us the complete object. And after that, we are going to check if receiver socket, that means there was a user online, and like. So again, like is a boolean which we worked on the last video. We are only going to emit a notification when you have liked the post. So now we are going to emit an event to one user to this receiver socket. So for that, io.to receiver socket dot socket ID. Again, this receiver socket is going to be an object. We are going to receive both of these properties, user ID and socket ID. And when you want to send data to someone particular inside a group, you use this method io.to his socket ID and then dot emit new notification received. I'm also going to add a comment here. When you want to send data to one particular person, one particular client, then you use the method io.to their socket ID and dot emit the event name. And now inside the data, we're going to send all of this information: name, profile pic URL, username, and we are also going to send the post ID. So now we are going to listen for this event on a client on our front end. So let's copy this. I'm going to close these. We don't need it anymore. And on our home page. So now here I'm going to create some states. Const new notification and set new notification. So this state is going to be for the information we receive from the backend. Use state is going to be null. And the second one is going to be notification popup and set notification popup. Use state is going to be false. So we are going to control the visibility of the popup with this state. I'm going to create a new use effect here. If socket.current, and this one is going to be on mount. Make sure to add the empty array brackets here. So if socket.current.on, new notification received. And in the second argument, we receive the callback, the data which we sent from the server. So I'm just going to copy these from the server. Let's paste it here. And now what we are going to do is, set new notification to this data. So set new notification. I'm just going to copy this object. It is going to be object. So let's copy this from here. So we're going to receive all of this information from the backend. We are adding it inside this state right here. And after that, set notification pop-up to true. And inside the components folder, I'm going to create a new component inside the home folder, notification portal.js React component. And inside this, first of all, we're going to import some components from semantic UI React. We are going to need segment, transitionable portal, icon, and feed. And inside this, we are going to receive the new notification, the state which we have on our home page, notification pop-up. So the state to control the visibility of this component, and show notification pop-up. So now if I go to the semantic UI React documentation, I'm going to maximize this page. Here you're going to search for transitionable portal. So this is the component which we are going to use for displaying the notification. If I click on this open portal, we are going to get a portal. It is going to be animated. And you can open and close this one. So these are all the transitions you can use. I'm going to use this fade left. So it is going to fade to the left side and fade out to the right. And if you click on this try it, you can view how they have implemented this. They have a transitionable portal. And then inside there is the data which we are going to show inside this portal. So if I click on this again, we have the segment. The header is this is the control portal. So we're going to use this component for our notification. And to display the notification, we're going to use this feed. So now back to VS Code. Let's save it first to reformat it. Also, we're going to import some more things here. Import new message sound. And we're going to need use router. And also we're going to need calculate time. If I go to the image, you can see we have the time too. If I zoom in, today at 4:03. So we're going to use the calculate time function for that. Let's initialize our hook, use router. And also I'm going to destructure out the values from new notification. So on our home page, we are setting the new notification to this object. So I'm going to copy these properties, paste it here. We're going to receive these properties inside the new notification state. And now for the return statement, I'm just going to copy its layout. So we have transitionable portal wrapping all around the content. Then we have a segment, and I've added a style object here. So I wanted this notification to appear on the top right. So if I go to the image again, zoom out, this is appearing on the top right side. So I played around with the settings here, and you can change it any way you want. And icon, we have an on click on this. So this icon is a close icon. This one right here, when the user clicks on this, the notification will go away. So we are calling the function show notification pop-up and setting it to false to close down the notification. After this, we have the feed. So this is the same component which we used when we were working on the notifications on a notifications page. We have the feed.user. On click, we are pushing the user to that profile page. Inside that, we are showing the name of the user. So in this case, John Doe, liked your, and then we have the anchor tags here. And on click, router.push /post and the post ID. And then we have the calculate time function passing in the date.now. So now let's import this component inside our home page. So I also want to tell you one more thing. Inside the notification portal, we have this on open. So this is basically a function, and we are calling this new message sound function or that. So whenever this portal opens, this function will automatically be called. And now inside the return statement, if notification pop-up is equals to true, so when we are receiving the new notification, we are setting the notification pop-up to true. And I'm going to change its name, this function's name, show notification pop-up. So inside our component, we already have this as show notification pop-up. And new notification is not equals to null. So we have to make sure new notification is not equals to null. Only then we are going to show this component. And notification portal. And let's pass in the props. New notification. And we have notification pop-up, the Boolean state. And after this, we have show notification pop-up. So now if I go back to my localhost servers, and if I go to the terminal, you can see we have two users. We have the log right here with the user ID and the socket ID. And if I go back, and on the right, I'm logged in as John Doe, and on the left as Jane Doe. You can see the document titles right here. So now I'm going to like the post. I have not liked this one, so let's like it. And we get the notification, John Doe liked your post today 4:03 p.m. And if I click on this, John Doe, you will be redirected to their profile page. Go back. I'm going to unlike this one. You do not get a notification because we are checking if like is equals to true. Only then we're going to emit this event. And if I click it again, we get the notification. And if I click on this post, we are redirected to that post. And again, if I unlike this, click on it again, we get the notification. And if I click on this cross sign, the notification goes away. So again, I'm going to explain what we did in this video. First of all, inside our server.js, I'm sure you must know this. When we were liking the post, we were returning success and error. If success, we were emitting socket.emit post liked. So this will basically emit the event to the client who liked this post. So if I like your post, this will basically emit me the event that the post has been liked. And after that, we are checking if post by user ID not equals to user ID. That basically means that you do not want a notification to yourselves that you are liking the post. So that's why we are checking if post by user ID not equals to user ID. Then we reach here inside this block, and then we are finding the user if he is online. And if he is online, we are going to get an object receiver socket. Basically, it is going to have both of these properties, user ID and socket ID. And it doesn't matter whether you are on any page, the user will automatically be removed if there is already a user with that user ID. So we are not going to have duplicates inside a user's array. Inside our room actions, so this line of code will make sure that there are no duplicates inside a user's array. So there are no two users with the same user ID and socket ID. After that, we are receiving this receiver socket and we are checking if receiver socket. So we are making sure that the user is online and like. So this is a Boolean. I explained this in the last video. When the user wants to like the picture, it is going to be true and vice versa. So only then we are going to emit the notification. You do not want to emit the notification when you are unliking the post. So when you want to send the data to one particular client inside a group, there are going to be multiple users connected to your app. There may be 10 or 15. You do not want to send the notification to everyone that their post has been liked. You do only want to send the notification to that user whose post has been liked. So io.to receiver socket dot socket id dot emit new notification received, sending the data alongside that. And on our home page, we are listening for this event, new notification received, receiving the data, set new notification, the state which we have, passing the data inside the state, and we are calling this show notification pop-up to true. And after that, if notification pop-up is equals to true and new notification is not equals to null, only then we are going to show this component. And the component, it is just simple layout. I'm sure you will understand it yourself. So now I want to give you a challenge. This is only the code for liking a post. I want you to implement real-time notification whenever someone comments on your post or follows you. If you get stuck at any stage, you can ask me in Udemy Q&A. You can DM me on Instagram or you can message me on Udemy. I will always be there to help you, but you should try it yourselves first. So this was all for this video. I will see you in the next one.